Hey there, Adrienne Elise here, just popping in to talk to you about what's going on the planets and the stars. Welcome to Gaia Daily for August 7th through 10th, 2019. So this period of time at the beginning of August is often called the portal. And that has to do with the fact that this is the high Leo time, right? We've got right now the Sun in Leo, we've got Venus in Leo, we've got Mars in Leo. The Sun and Venus are very close together and will be almost for the whole month as they move into Virgo together. So there's a huge energy going on that has to do with way back in last fall or in November, October, November, as we went through that Venus retrograde. And I think we started feeling it in September and then all the way through December with that, it was still in shadow. So we're looking at this period of time and it's a continuation of what was going on. And so because now the Sun and Venus are together and it's like, okay, what went on there? What am I now? After this dark night of the soul, perhaps energy, because this has been coming up a lot. And, you know, everybody's talking about these great transits that are happening right now. And they are very beautiful with the Sun and Venus together in trine to Jupiter, about expanding possibilities of who we are. But we also have Mercury at the end degrees of Cancer. And it's really important to talk about the incredibly psychic, powerful psychic purge of our psyche and of our collective consciousness that's been going on. And so for those sensitive souls that have been feeling it, it's really, really intense. And so we have this juxtaposition energy going on of like going into deep, dark grief places and loss and failure and insecurities, and then stuff from ancient lifetimes coming up around the state of the world and not being. So this is kind of what's going on, right? Because we're not quite done. We're almost done. Mercury will move into Leo on the 11th. Okay, so we're just in the last few days of this energy. But it's important to take note of it and understand what's going on a little bit for those souls that have been feeling this way. Because sometimes when we're like, oh, what do you want to dream? We vision, we can create the world we want. And like that energy can bring up dark feelings of sadness and failure from past lives that make no sense. You know, this is collective energy. This is personal energy. And when we go to kind of have the idea that we can create the world we want, then we are, you know, with this end degrees of Cancer stuff going on, Mercury's third pass over these end degrees of Cancer, we're talking about our relationship to nurturing, our relationship to feeling at home in this world, on this planet. And that is bringing up energies of where we feel like we failed this planet, you know, or maybe we've bought into the fact that we failed this planet, or that we weren't able to help. We weren't able to stop some sort of tragedy or some sort of event, you know, and some catastrophe. Like that type of energy is coming up right now. And these light worker souls, it's like deep, dark feelings from past lives around not being like, there's this dark night of the soul energy that has to do with these end degrees of Cancer that is like, oh no, there's nothing you can do. The world is just messed up. It's just going to continue to get worse. It's too late. You know, like this is what the control energies want us to feel. They want to keep us in this hopeless place. And yeah, it's not true at all. So now we have this juxtaposition because we all have all this light. We've got this fire energy, and we haven't had, last year we had barely any fire at all. And so it's been quite a while since we've had this energy, and it's highlighting this. It's like now we're finally starting to get the gift and the synthesis and the understanding of what that North Node in Leo was. And that was during part of 2018, 2017, and the end of 2016, it started. So we've been on a journey of trying to grab a hold of our light, our truth, what we want to express in the world, and our permission for that. And of course, this world is really all about more keeping us in boxes and keeping us with our heads down and keeping us out in the lower vibrational grid, and we have to get up out of it. So it's really important to know that yes, these darker feelings are purging out of the collective, and if you're a sensitive soul, you're feeling it. And the other thing though to know is that it's not actually you. You might have experienced these feelings in the past, and you're being brought back to that place, but they don't define you. It's not who you are. It's just something you experienced. Okay. Because we're like, a lot of these sensitive souls are feeling just real dark stuff coming up around this end of degrees of Cancer stuff around failures on their quest, perhaps in past lives, or failure to help or heal or prevent some sort of trauma or tragedy. And it's just heavy dark feelings. But you know what? They're coming up to be cleansed. They're from the past. They're coming up to be cleansed, and they're moving very quickly. So if we don't get attached to them and just observe and be like, whoa, this is heavy, and I must have felt this at some point, and I think it's coming out of the collective, and okay, that's interesting, and let that energy move. Now, the medicine for this time has to do with this juxtaposition with all this light. We have these beautiful transits going on. We don't have any of these intense, heavy squares and oppositions right now. We've got all these trines, the sun and Venus together having a little tea party. And it's kind of like the sun is like, I want to shine. And Venus is like, well, I'm working through whether I deserve it and who I am. And can I be who I really am? And who am I anyway? And can I receive my gifts? I do want to shine, but now then these guys, they stay close, like I said, all month long. It's quite a journey between the sun and Venus, which means it's a complete reworking of our personality construct according to our feminine side. Okay. So we all have male and female within. Our feminine side is that part of ourselves that can feel those low self-worth issues, non-deserving issues, and also our intuitive side and our emotional side that have been demonized, have been cast aside, have been neglected and abandoned and disconnected from who we are. And we're trying to integrate ourselves back into wholeness. And it's a powerful, powerful energy with the Venus and the sun so close together. As they spend this time in Leo for 3 weeks, they're close together, and then moving together into Virgo. So they're together reworking our identity, and then in trine to Jupiter. And this is about that quest. And finally, we have some positive aspects with Jupiter. It's been all squares and like, oh, no, you don't get to be on your quest, and everything that's in the way of getting back on to that life of meaning and purpose. A lot of these indigo type souls, light worker souls, crystal seed souls have had lifetimes where, you're really, in order to get to this planet and be a part of this experience, you had to really want to be here. So you had like a great desire to bring your gifts and skills and be a part of this experience and help humanity. And, everybody has their own kind of set of karmic reasons how they got here. And then imagine coming here and being like so excited to just be on the path and share what you have and bring light to this world and hope. And then you're just really moving on your quest, whatever that is, your project, your vision, your message, and bam, you're killed or you're persecuted or you're tortured, and then it creates this energy of like, just completely thwarting that path and that journey, even to the point where there's been lifetimes where this has been gaslit away from you or brainwashed. It's like, oh, no, you don't have a quest. There's no purpose beyond your physical body, right? And so this is this is what this Jupiter and Sagittarius is about. It's like, oh, no, yeah, I've got purpose. And I'm going to express it. I'm going to do it. And that's why I live. I live for this zest of life. Now, this is the medicine of this time right now, because some people are feeling this beautiful expansion energy and this hope and this light. And some people are still in the Cancer energy. And the medicine for all of it right now, because when we go to have the shift from those wallowing into the darker, that shadow purge that's been going on, and then moving into this bright light of Leo that's exposing all of that shadow, it's really intense. And that's where these deep dark feelings that have been suppressed are coming up. Now, fire energy, the way they deal with emotions is very differently than water. And so there's a lot of frustration and angst and like, oh gosh, darn it, like I've had enough of this, not on my planet, no more. No more of this violence and these games and these lies and this deception. This is not the world I want, right? So there's all this frustration coming up. It's almost like when you have just a little bit of a room to dream, then it brings up the feelings of just everything you haven't dealt with around frustration, around the world being so messed up and not being able to help it. And that's like, well, there's nothing you can do. You just have to keep going through the behaviors that are hurting our planet because there's no options. And there really are options. They've just been kept from us. And, we've been just in quarantine, basically, energetically. And this Sagittarius energy is like bust out of that, The Leo energy right now, the Leo gateway is really about connecting back to joy, connecting back to the light of truth, of love, of creative energy. And that is the medicine right now. You can take that frustration that you feel about the world and about your life and move it, express it. That is like maybe for you it's exercise, maybe it's a creative project, but this creative energy, this life force energy, we got to grab hold of it. And when you're working with that energy directly, then those issues that can really get you down go to the wayside, right? It's just like you're too busy enjoying this zest of life, this experience, and this is what we're being asked to do. And it's a lot of what's been, technology, the effect of it is that we have an experience on a screen, right? And we don't have an experience. We're having less and less actual life experiences. Of course, you have an experience so you can take a picture and put it on Instagram or whatever for everybody to see. But that's the focus of it. It's not the experience itself. And it's really important in time to save, like part of saving humanity right now and saving yourself and saving your life is like, just doesn't have to be a big experience, but a simple experience of like going out, going to nature, experiencing something, learning something, going on a quest, this is the energy of this time right now. We've got to get back into what it feels like to really live and claim that back in our life. Now, for some, that brings up grief from the past. For some, that brings up frustration and anger. And for some, it's going to feel really freeing and expansive for the first time in a long time. We all just are having our own journey through this. But what this, the new moon that happened in Leo, that starts the Lion's Gate portal. And then the full moon in Aquarius is those are like the bookmarks. And a lot of people talk about the 8th of August as the Lion's Gate 8-8, but it's really this whole period of time. And that new moon happened at 11:11 on East Coast time, where the capital of US is, and that's got a lot of energy around deep, profound, systematic change that's been trying to happen in our world and needs to happen for us to really get on with moving forward in our evolution, right? And but 11:11 is a powerful gateway portal number, and there's this huge message there for us. And then the full moon happens on the 15th, and that's in Aquarius at 22 degrees Aquarius. 22 is also a master builder number, 11 and 22, and it's about building something completely new, something completely different, stepping through to a new dimensional reality. That's what this energy is about. So we are definitely the universe is confirming to us that this is a very powerful time, a portal. And, it really started back at that solstice energy. And we had to go through this incredibly profound journey, eclipses and Mercury retrograde. And now we're just coming out of that. Now, so the height of the portal energy is really on the 11th because Jupiter turns direct, so as Venus and the sun are in trine to Jupiter, this beautiful, just like, the rays of light coming in. It's okay. You deserve it. You can get back on your quest. You're a new person. Just leave it all behind. All of the programming and everything that told you who you were, all these false parts of you, just step through, and so Jupiter turning direct with the sun and Venus in trine is really powerful energy. And that's going to be like, whoa, it's like slingshot type energy. And it's really important to watch our emotions and our expression, put in our energy into some positive creative expression, to work with this energy the most, kind of take some ownership, some pride in this process, and push yourself through a limitation that you have been coming up against, right? This is we're being asked to enact our spiritual will and move with the energy so that we're not left behind, and so that we're not left wallowing in those undergrades Cancer, in the Middle Ages and the Piscean age and all that, right? Now, Uranus turns retrograde on that same day. So it's interesting because we're having Jupiter just like lurching forward, right? And then Jupiter turning direct means it's heading to the galactic center. And Jupiter is at home in Sagittarius. It took its retrograde before it got to the galactic center. That's what's going to be the energy of this fall that we're moving into in these next months. And so we'll talk more about that. But at the same day, Uranus is turning direct, right? And Uranus is about infusing this world with new energies. And so it's kind of like, okay, you guys got a bright light. We went to some new territory, and now we got to assimilate what's happened. And so it's like everything we've been dealing with, right? Like forward, back, but it really does represent new territory. And of course, it's all happening on the 11th. So we've got some powerful energy there. And Mercury moves into Leo on the 11th. So that's when Mercury isn't quite out of shadow. Mercury actually comes out of shadow on the day of that full moon in Aquarius. So everything is lining up to say, we're here at the precipice, at the edge, push yourself out of the nest, push yourself through this. It's almost like there's great momentum there, but we haven't been able to quite find the gate through. We've been swirling around in the eddies of the past, and now it's time to let and allow and use our will to align with this energy of like, almost like letting that fire energy push you through all of your insecurities and everything that's held you back, and go face something you feared or some project you said you wanted to do. Go take a step in that direction and see what that feels like. The energy is right for it right now. And by enacting your spiritual will and saying yes to the universe in whatever area, it's like whatever's going on for you, it's just, can be some magic. So take advantage of this energy. And then over these next couple of days, we're feeling this Venus and the sun in trine to Jupiter. We're also feeling Neptune in trine to the North Node. They're less than a degree apart again right now. And that's about dreaming a new dream, dreaming something new, like letting ourselves imagine something different. And so huge activation and visionary level, creative visionary level. And we're still having we're having tons of fire, and we still got a bunch of water too. So the world you want to create is in the connection and with that creative energy. Now, this is part of the stories, those dark doom feelings that are coming up in the collective have to do with the fact that we've been programmed to think that creative energy, this life force of the universe, is destructive. It's not destructive. It is neutral. And it's the source of all life. So it's beautiful. It's the essence. It's everything that's created in this world is made from this life force. And so it's so powerful right now that it's like we don't have time. You can kind of skip over the insecurity part because it's like the fire, the energy, the juice is so intense. You got to do something with it. You got to step into the fire. You got to burn all those old emotions away. And we don't have time to feel insecure or be like, well, do I deserve it? I don't know. We just don't have time for that right now. You just got to like step into the fire, burn it all away, enact that will, and grab a hold of those creative forces that are your property, by your birthright, by your I am presence. Those creative energies are available to you. And you were programmed way back in ancient times that creative energy is not yours to have. It's too dangerous. You can't handle it. It's going to cause destruction. Those are all lies. It's like crossed wires. you know? And so by using our will and grabbing a hold of this energy right now and experiencing it, you can really break through a lot of stuff that's been holding you back, just magically and without even noticing you're doing it. So good luck, hang in there, make the most of these energies, and I look forward to seeing you next time. And maybe you'll consider joining me for that full moon activation that will happen on the 14th, the day before that full moon in Aquarius. And so I look forward to seeing you then. So until then, I'm Adrienne Elise. Namaste.